Okay,
Hey.
there we go. So we're live in Lockdown Children's Lit Fest. You going to say hello? No, she's sneaking off. Right, we'll close the door.
She's going back to do maths homework or something, isn't she?
Something that's far more preferable to spending time with her mum.
Yeah, I mean, that's anything probably at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love you, but I think I've seen enough of you.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was Flo, my youngest, who was just asking Emily about her mugs. We'll ask Emily about those again in a minute. So hello, welcome. This is Lockdown Children's Lit Fest. And we are here today with the really talented and lovely Emily Gravett. So far this week, we've interviewed Candy Gourlay, who writes for older children, Nicola Rowley, who's published a picture book, and Nicola Morgan. I couldn't remember who I interviewed yesterday.
Write it down.
You know, it's time doing very strange things for everyone. It's just very odd. So yesterday we had Nicola Morgan, and those videos are all available to watch again. Nicola is not a tea writer. What is going on with me today?
It's Friday afternoon. It's Friday afternoon, isn't it?
It's Friday afternoon. It is Friday. And yes, another week, 73 million of lockdown.
That just about works, doesn't it?
Yes.
That's how numbers work nowadays.
So Nicola Morgan is a non-fiction writer of books all about the teenage brain. So if you've got teenagers at home, I would really recommend watching that video. That was really useful, knowing just helping us support our teenagers at home. So today we've got an author and illustrator, Emily Gravett. And we've got a hello from Jake, age 6.
Hello, Jake.
There you go, Jake. Shout out to you. You have to tell us where you are. And so we're going to hear a bit about Emily and all her books and her writing stories and her adventures. We've got a hello from Rachel. If you want to put your questions to Emily, type them in and we'll read them out to her. And so I'm Catherine Miller. I've been a teacher for about 20 years, and then I was a school leader, and now I'm working as a consultant helping schools to motivate children with their reading for pleasure. And that's why I've kind of started this whole lockdown lit fest, just to help, because whenever I've seen children who have met an author, they've been so inspired and their work has been wonderful and they've got really enthused about books. It's really powerful experience for children to meet authors. So I thought while we were on lockdown, we'd use all this tech that we have at our hands and interview some lovely authors. So Emily, very excited to meet you today. Would you like to tell us a little bit about you, about your background?
Well, my background. What kind of things do you want to know about my background?
How did you become an author?
Okay, so quite late, I think. I was 32 or 33 when my first book was published. And before that, I didn't have any clue that I wanted to do this, really. Well, not until maybe 4 years before that. I'd sort of never really known what I wanted to be. I wanted to be stupid things when I wanted to be a witch when I was really little. That was my main ambition. It was not a stupid thing. It actually would be quite a good thing to be. I still quite like to be a witch, but that obviously hasn't happened. And then I didn't know what I wanted to do for a long time. So then I went to live in a bus for about 8 years. And then I had a baby. And when I had the baby, I started reading picture books. And I started to think, actually, because the only thing I'd ever been any good at was drawing. I thought, actually, maybe this is something that I could do. So I decided to go to university and I went to study illustration at Brighton University.
It's disappointing that you didn't study witchery. Sorry.
If there had been a course, yeah. I probably would have considered it. Way cooler.
Yeah. But no, that's fantastic that you did illustration. So that's great. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's right. And then at the end of my illustration degree, there was a competition on the notice board run by Macmillan Publishers, and it was looking for new illustrators, I suppose. So I entered. I'd done a project at the end of my third year called Wolves, and a book. So it was a book called Wolves and another little book called Orange Pear Apple Bear. So I entered both of them into the competition, and Wolves won, and they offered me a publishing deal for that and Orange Pear Apple Bear, and then a third book which became a book called Meerkat Mail.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic as well. Yeah. Meerkat Mail was one of the first books that I got some really good writing out of when I read it with my class.
Very popular in schools, that one.
Yeah.
All the letters I get are like year 2
yeah.
writing to an author, letter writing sort of.
Yeah. Right, we've got some more hellos. We've got hello from Rachel. You tell us where you are. Hello from Sarah. This is Jake. Sorry, Jake's in Ashton-under-Lyne in Greater Manchester.
Oh,
and then we've got Bronte, who's 6 in Glasgow, and she loved Monkey and Me.
Oh, that's based on my friend's daughter called Amelie, who you didn't used to sit still for reading books. So they used to take her to the zoo every week. They had one of those passes. They used to go every week. This is when she was a preschooler. And so I thought I'd write a book that she could bounce around to rather than
fabulous. And they're saying thank you, Emily. So she obviously liked bouncing around to it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So where do you I was curious about your books. Which comes first? Is it the pictures that comes first? Is it the words that comes first? Or is it the story, the characters that comes first?
It's different each time, I think. So it depends on the book. Some books just come from sort of a concept, like, I don't know, sharing or something, or some books might just come from a character. So the one I did recently called Tidy, it just came from the Badger character. So, and sometimes then I will write the whole text first and then illustrate it, and other times I don't write it at all. I just start illustrating it and then fit words in around. So it's different for each book. I just think whatever the book needs, that's what I'm going to try and do. So therefore, I've never really learned how to do it properly, which is annoying.
Well, I would argue that you do know what you're doing, very much so. From all
I beg to differ.
My daughter and I have just watched you reading Tidy, and my mum was talking to me about that book as well. And we loved the environmental message in it. But I really love the words in it. I think your rhythm to your words is really fantastic.
Thank you, because when I did that, that was the first book I'd done in rhyme, and my editor basically said to me, "Look, you just can't really do this. You're not very good at it." Don't mean to be rude to her. She's lovely and she's very supportive, but she was like, you're going to have to write it in prose, write it without rhyming, and then if by the time we get to just before it needs to go into production, you haven't got the rhyming right, we're going to use the prose. So I just spent so many hours trying to get it right. I think I really want to do it in rhyme.
Oh, well, it worked. Well done. Thank you. I'm glad you did it in rhyme, because it's brilliant.
I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It's nice to try something different, I think.
Yeah. Rachel and her twins Ava and Esme, who are 8, are near Windsor, and she's saying not anywhere near Slough. And Jake wants to tell Emily that he read Meerkat Mail at school too.
Oh, did you? I've done another one now called Meerkat Christmas. So it's like a Christmas version of Meerkat Mail, which is fun. Lots of
brilliant.
Christmas in it. Not good for this time of year though.
No, but we'll remember it at Christmas.
Yeah, we're still in lockdown.
So, and which book are you most proud of?
So I'm looking up at my bookshelf.
Oh, you can grab some and show us if you want to.
Okay. I think, hang on. I should be back. Oh, sorry, this is not very interesting, is it? There's me on a ladder. I think probably one of the earliest ones that I did at uni, the Orange Pear Apple Bear. And actually Tidy as well, maybe, I think. Yeah, maybe Tidy as well. But then, and the Rabbit Problem.
Okay.
Out of print, which is a shame, but...
I love, we got our Orange Pear Apple Bear out of the library probably about 6 months ago. And I love that. Just the simplicity of it. It's just so...
I think that's why I like it. And I think because it was really fast to make, it was a sort of Mother's Day present to myself, from myself.
Oh.
And my daughter was I suppose she must have been 6, I suppose. And I had to hand in, I was at university, I had to hand in a university project and it wasn't going very well. So it was Sunday and I had to hand the project in on Monday and it was Mother's Day. And I'd had this dream about these recurring words, orange, pear, apple, bear. And I woke up and I thought I could just abandon the last project and I could just make this book. And they said, what do you want for Mother's Day? And I just said, I want you all to go away and leave me to work. So I just worked for about 11 hours straight. And by the end, I had this book, Orange, Pear, Apple, Bear, which I handed in the next day. In fact, I've got let me see if I can find you the original, because I made it into a book. I used to do book binding quite a bit. Oh, where are you? There it is. There you go.
Oh, wow.
So this is what I handed in at university. See, it's slightly different shape.
Oh, would you like to read it to us?
It's the same.
Okay.
I don't think I added anything. Maybe I did. So orange. Can you see? Have I got this in the right?
Yep.
I don't feel like I'm in the right place on the camera somehow. Orange, pear. This is where I realise all the pages have got stuck together. No. Apple, bear. Apple, pear, orange, bear. Orange, pear, apple, bear. Sorry, that's an email coming in. Apple, bear, orange, pear. No, that way. What's wrong with me? Apple, orange, pear, bear. Orange, bear. Pear, bear. Apple, bear. There. It's very simple.
Oh, it's so lovely. I think that's probably why it's a classic and still really popular, because it's just
very simple. Yeah,
it's lovely. Esther is saying that Joe is 19 months and he's letting Mum listen whilst he eats a sandwich.
That's very kind of him. Well done.
He loves Bear and Hare, especially Where's Bear.
Oh, that's nice.
And Esther wrote a comment on the page saying that she's a real. I want to read this out to you. Sorry. She said, I will try to join in, but suspect Joe will be awake and rascaling. I love that word. However, just wanted to fangirl about Emily Gravett. Where's Bear is a favourite of Joe's, and she was one of my champion authors in my class when I was in Key Stage 1. We think she's brilliant.
That's nice. That's really nice.
And Esther asked, do you have a favourite character to draw?
Oh, probably anything rodenty. I like mice, rats, rabbits. I know that rabbits aren't really rodents, are they? But that kind of thing, that kind of little hoppity sort of thing. Yeah. Those are my favorite, because they're almost like you can make them upright like little people.
Okay.
Good expressions on their faces. They're just nice. They're just nice to draw. Easy.
I love the story of Cyril the squirrel. Cyril and Pat.
And Pat. Yeah.
And their little adventures. I think that's really funny. That's really, I think that really captures the essence of childhood friendship, doesn't it? Because children don't see differences. They don't see that, oh, I can't be friends with that person. They're funny. They make me laugh. I'm going to be their friend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See what's important in them.
Yeah. Society and other people saying, no, you have to behave in this way. You have to conform, fit in this box.
Yeah, and we're terrible with our own children about that as well, aren't we? Of being judgmental about other children. Like, I don't think that quite. We're a bit of a bad influence.
And Esther also said, is it more challenging to create books like Bear and Hare with very few words?
I think they all have their different challenges, actually. I think, they're all, I think they're all equally difficult in different ways. I try and do a sort of mix of books, because otherwise I think I'd get bored. So some of them are just, the last couple have been stories, really. Cyril, Pat and Tidy. They've been quite sort of narrative based. But actually before that, most of my books haven't particularly been. And I think they're all equally difficult and equally easy, if you do what I mean. Once you've had the idea, then easy, of course. But
where do you get your ideas from?
I don't know. I'm trying to find one at the moment. I've got a contract. I haven't got an idea.
Oh, well, we could maybe help you if anyone's got an idea for Emily.
Doesn't work like that. Somebody else's idea.
Oh, well, if anyone else has an idea of their own, then you have a go for yourself.
Yes, do that. That would be better. Yeah. And then I'll be jealous of your good idea instead.
Bronte in Glasgow is asking, where do you get your inspiration for your characters?
I think I just like, well, they're all animals, aren't they? Mostly, apart from I hardly ever draw humans if I can help it, and so I just like all animals really, and I just sort of imagine them with these human characteristics, and imagine myself as them, and then I draw them in my head. So I think.
Yeah, some animals. Have you ever, when in your videos and your Facebook lives, you've often been accompanied by Dilys, your dog?
Yeah, she's downstairs at the moment. I think she's asleep on the sofa. Otherwise, I'd go and get her.
Do any of your characters end up taking on her characteristics or little?
They haven't yet. But Dilys is only a year old, so I've only had her for a few months, really. So she's yet to appear in any books. So yeah, not really yet, but she has got quite a large personality, so I'm sure she'll be popping up somewhere.
Brilliant. Joe was mesmerised at the story where I think Where's Bear, and he adds banana at the end.
Oh, good idea.
And Walter is 4 and he still loves the odd egg.
Oh, good for him. Yeah, that's a fun one, isn't it? That's quite a long time ago I did that one.
And well, Walter, you can go and watch Emily reading The Odd Egg and drawing as well on her Facebook page. So yeah, we did that, and I was actually really, really proud of my picture that I drew. And
they were all very good.
It was very good, and I photographed my daughter's picture and put it on your Facebook page. But actually, what I really wanted to do was photograph my picture and send it to them.
I think if we mothers did.
Year 1 at Birchwood Grove School in Burgess Hill are about to use Meerkat Mail as their key text to support their home learning, and they would love it if you would say hello.
Hello. Oh, sorry, I can't wave in the middle of the camera. What's wrong with me? It's always outside.
And so that's hello to Year 1 at Birchwood Grove School. And
Year 1.
I think they think we all understand how Sunny feels at the moment, doing everything together. Like meerkats.
Yes, I am feeling for you all. Luckily, there's only 2 people in this house and a dog, but any more. I don't have Sunny's personality in this respect.
Well, there are 5 in our house, and my mum is alone, and she's so we've been really, you know, she said it really does weird things to your head being by yourself. So we've been really trying to support her and you know, FaceTime her. And actually today we did a bike ride to her house. My youngest daughter, who was here, started riding a bike properly at the weekend, so we rode along to her house and had a little social distant picnic, and and it was lovely. But me and my sister have been saying to my mum, we're actually a little bit jealous of you being by yourself.
I think everyone's a little bit jealous of each other, aren't they? And I'm all right because I think there's just 2 of us, and that's sort of, and the dog, and that's pretty good actually. I'm in a terrace street, so I can hear all the neighbours have small children, and I'm feeling for them sometimes. Obviously, it's obviously quite hard work, I think.
Yeah, it has its moments, but yeah, I think there's been a real joy actually in the slowing down, and I wanted to talk to you about lockdown. What's been your best and worst thing about lockdown?
The best thing, I think, is the street that I live in has become much closer as a community. I think even though we can't actually physically get close to each other, there's a lot of WhatsApp group going on and a lot of people leaving things on each other's doorsteps, and you know, oh, I've got sourdough starter, you have this, you know, oh, who needs a puzzle, we've got some books to give out. All of that kind of stuff is really, really nice, I think. So that's been the best bit. And the fact that if I want to put my pajamas on at midday, I'm quite, you know, I'm thinking, why not? Yeah. There's no one here to watch me.
And what's been the worst thing for you?
I think not seeing people. You know, my mother on the other, just in the same town as well, and so I'm not seeing her, and I'm not going to pottery as well. And I like going to pottery, just little things like that. I mean, to be fair, I'm quite antisocial by nature, so being in it's actually okay. It's fine. I'm quite liking the fact that I don't have to do things, if you see what I mean. I don't suddenly have to go to London for a meeting or attend something that I'd set up ages ago and then forgotten about. It's just all gone, which is
no pressure.
Yeah, I quite like it. I quite like it. But I wouldn't mind going to pottery. I think that would be okay. That would be nice.
Well, your mugs, my daughter and I were looking at your mugs and your pictures on your Facebook page, and so I thought I'd show you my mug. This is my sister made me this. She's a really keen potter.
That's fantastic. Better than mine. Mine aren't very good. Mine look all right.
Yours are brilliant.
They're really heavy.
How is yours?
Okay, hang on. Right, that's the one. Hang on.
There we go. We're going to have a competitive mug off.
Competitive mug off. Okay, I have like a whole selection. They build up throughout the year, and then I give them away for Christmas. So they've just changed the colour of clay in the pottery place I go to. It's gone brown. I don't like it very much. Before that, it was this nice white colour before, which I liked. But see, I'm quite good at the decorating, but I'm not brilliant at the wheel bit. So they're getting better, but they're not. They're definitely. You can tell how long ago I did them by the weight. Right. They're getting lighter and lighter, which is nice. The one I'm painting on the moment, that's about as good as I've got it so far. It's the right size, and it's it's very dirty actually.
So, do you have any plans for selling them?
I don't think I could make it work, to be honest, because I'd have to post them, and pottery is a bad thing to post. And to be honest, if I was going to, I don't really sell drawings either. So if I was going to sell drawings, the money that I could make on a drawing, which would take me an hour, half an hour, and then a mug, which takes me, hours and hours and hours and days, plus pottery fees, studio fees, and all that kind of stuff, it just wouldn't be worth it. I couldn't sell them for enough to make it worth selling. So I'd rather just give them away as presents.
Oh, well, I'm sure there's some very lucky people who are very grateful for your lovely present.
Probably all thinking, oh God, all these mugs that I can't fit in, and these bowls that don't stack.
Freddie is 8 and he loves tidy.
Oh, well done, Freddie.
And sorry, Nicholas says we love Matilda's cat, as we had a ginger cat called Stevie at the time.
Oh, that was based on my friend's daughter, who's called Matilda, who had a cat. And when I went to visit her, she had all these drawings that were a bit like the drawings in Matilda's cat of the cat dressed up in little ball gowns and things, all up on her wall. And she's a really good drawer still. She's just started secondary school now, but she's still brilliant at drawing. And so I sort of based it on that.
Brilliant. Esme and Bronte love Pottery Throwdown. We've been watching a lot of Pottery Throwdown. We really love it too. And Esme and Bronte think that your decorating is great.
Thank you. But I can't do any of the things that they do on Pottery Throwdown. Every time I watch it, I'm thinking, oh my God, I won't be able to do that. I bet a cup is as big as I can throw. If they asked me to throw a toilet or something, I would be like, it would be this big. Don't go nuts. Just do a small one.
Jake has asked if you would read another story.
What do you want me to read, Jake?
Oh, Jake, put it in the comments, and we'll see what he comes back with.
It's a complicated
one. So coming back to tidy, we touched on that environmental message. I love just that kind of whole we just have to let nature be messy and disorganized and untidy. I think we can't. We're trying to not cut our lawn as much this year because we want the flowers to come through, for the insects to have to thrive. So have you got any tips for children to help look after our world?
Not really. I think children are a lot better at it than we are. I think for our generation, it's a sort of new concept, isn't it? But I think children now actually just sort of understand that we should be stepping back a bit and not trying to control it all the time. And It sort of makes sense. And actually, that's the other good thing about this whole lockdown thing, hasn't it? Suddenly, the sky is very clear of plane trails, and you can hear the birds, and things just feel a bit cleaner, don't they?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
wow, so what a effort.
I know.
Get it back to being a beautiful place again without, well, obviously this is a massive deal, but you see what I mean? I don't want to do this. I don't want to wipe out half the population in the process.
I know, but I feel quite optimistic. I feel quite hopeful that people will just have that, we've had that wake up call that actually we do need to make a change.
Yeah,
And
I hope so.
I saw in India there are towns that can see the Himalayas that they haven't been able to see for 30 years because of the smog.
Wow, that's really impressive, isn't it? And I wonder what it must have been like in China, because I've been to China a few times now, into the really smoggy cities, and you can't see across the road. So I'm wondering what it must be like when they shut the factories down for a couple of months. It must have been quite a major, I think.
Yeah, it must be a really bizarre experience for them.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope, fingers crossed, the world leaders sort it out. And Jake is asking if we can have Cave Baby, please.
Oh, okay, hang on. Let me go and find it. I haven't read it for a long time, though. Where are you? Cave Baby. Okay. It's very hard to do in front of a camera, isn't it? Hang on, I'm going to tip that up a bit. Does that make it better?
There we go.
I can't read it upside down, though. Not my text. I don't know the words off by heart. That's my excuse anyway. Let's have a look.
How did you find collaborating with an author?
Well, to be honest, I just got given the text. We didn't really have anything to do with each other all the way through it.
Okay.
And I found it a little bit weird, to be honest. And since then, I've not really illustrated a picture book for someone else. I've done older fiction because it feels very different. But I think I decided that actually I quite like doing my own picture books. But I like to illustrate older fiction for other people. I've just spent the whole year illustrating Quidditch Through the Ages, doing a J.K. Rowling one. And that.
I'm going to ask you about that. Very excited.
Okay, do you want me to read this?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, Cave Baby. See if I can remember it. Cave Baby's lucky. He lives inside a cave with his mum, who's good at painting, and his dad, who's very brave, and a saber-toothed tiger, a hyena and a hare, and a grey woolly mammoth, and a big brown bear. Can you see it? I'm going the wrong way. Why am I going the wrong way? It's like a mirror, isn't it? Cave Baby's lonely. Nobody will play. Dad is busy being brave. Mum says, keep away. Everything is boring. I think we know that. Then suddenly it's not. For in a corner of the cave, he finds a brush and pot. Spots on the hyena, stripes on the hare, stars on the tiger, squiggles on the bear, zigzags on the mammoth. This is lots of fun. But Mum and Dad are furious and say, look what he's done. Cave Mum fetches water. She mutters and she wipes. No more spots and squiggles. No more stars and stripes. Cave Dad wags his finger. If you don't take care, a mammoth's going to throw you to the big brown bear. Cave Baby's restless. He's feeling wide awake. A long grey trunk comes sneaking in, all wiggly like a snake. Where are you taking me? Where? Tell me where. Are you going to throw me to the big brown bear? Stripes in the forest. A tiger's lurking there. Don't throw me to the tiger or the big brown bear. Can you see the bear on there? Ooh, hang on. There he is. Crashing in the bushes. A hare is leaping there. Maybe he's escaping from the big brown bear. Can't work backwards. A cackle in the bracken, a hyena's laughing there. Has he heard a joke about the big brown bear? A cave in the hillside. I wonder who lives there. I hope it's not. Don't let it be the big brown bear. The cave is bright with moonlight. The walls are plain and bare. Snoring in the shadows, someone's sleeping there. Cave baby's worried. He doesn't understand until the woolly mammoth pops a paintbrush in his hand. A five-legged tiger, a long curly hair, horns on a hyena, a beard on a bear, a moustache on a mammoth. This is lots of fun. Then the mammoth wakes his family and says, look what he has done. And they rollick and they frolic, they trumpet and they crash, they wade into the water and they roll and romp and splash. They shake the baby by the hand, then lift their trunks and wave as the mammoth picks him up again and takes him to his cave. Cave baby's happy. He's fast asleep in bed. He dreams about a tiger with stripes of pink and red, and a grass-green hyena, and a sky-blue hare, and a moon-yellow mammoth, and a small brown bear. That's the end.
Oh, I love that. I bet that was really fun drawing all the graffiti.
Yeah. Yes, it was really fun, but it was also a bit weird because I hadn't really drawn many backgrounds in my books up to that point, and I realised I had to put all this scenery in it quite early on. I thought, I don't know how to draw scenery. I got used to it.
Oh, it's lovely. Esther said thank you for answering her questions, and she said, just my mistake, the banana was added at the end of the apple, orange, pear, bear that you read.
That makes more sense.
It does. Apple, orange, pear, bear, banana.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I hope you liked that, Jake. I know I did. Freddie would like to know how long it takes you to write a book, and when did you first want to be an author?
Okay, so every book takes a different amount of time. So the quickest one, that one, orange, pear, apple, bear, 11 hours. The slowest one has been the rabbit problem. It took just over a year, I think. It's about a year, and it took a year.
And when did you first want to be an author?
Not until after my daughter was born, because I started reading picture books to her and I sort of fell in love with them. And that's when I think I realised it was something that I could maybe do. So not until that point. I'd never even thought about it.
Mm-hmm. There is something really magical about picture books, isn't it? Yeah, I'm a huge advocate for picture books all the way through primary school, right up to year 6 and into secondary school.
Far too young, I think. I mean, I think literacy and that all the things that picture books, represent, not being so obvious, people having to interpret the meaning themselves is so important. I think even for much older children and adults, in fact, I think we abandon those pictures far too early.
Yeah, there's so much learning to be got through the nuance in the imagery. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ava would like to ask, how much reading do you do every day? That's a good question.
How much reading do I do? I read maybe about 2 hours a day, maybe, I think, but not highbrow stuff, like murder mysteries, anything really. I just like reading. If anything can absorb me, then I'll read it.
Brilliant. And what was the book that made you a reader?
Oh, when I was little. Oh, I don't know. Do you know what? I don't really know. I suppose I'm trying to remember what were the first things I read. I think actually the very first book that I read of my own was an actual annual. It was like a children's, quite a Barber Papa annual, and I remember being absolutely obsessed with it and thinking it was wonderful. And then I was just about that point when Raymond Briggs was doing Fungus the Bogeyman.
Oh,
and I loved that. And my dad
yeah.
was a technician at the art college where Raymond Briggs taught, so I think I had a signed copy. I don't think I've got it anymore, but I had a signed
Wow.
copy. So it was. I remember thinking that was really exciting.
He,
Somebody's
his oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called. The Raymond Briggs about the nuclear apocalypse.
it's not Gentleman Jim, is it? It's the other one. It might be Gentleman Jim.
It's Friday of week 79. It's a long.
Yeah, I can't retain names of things at the best of times. This isn't the best of times, is
it? Hopefully that will come to me, because my brother got me that for Christmas one year when I was about maybe 12, 13, and that really opened my eyes into, because I think I'd probably thought that I was really grown up and had moved beyond picture books, and that really struck home with me that actually
really hug the heartstrings, his books, don't they?
Yeah,
all of them. Ethel and Ernest, I can't.
Oh, I love that. What a memorial!
It makes me so sad.
It makes me want to do that. It makes me want to have that for me and my family. That's such a lovely memory of his parents.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
And brilliant social history as well.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I made a book for my daughter when she was about her being born, really, when I was in foundation. So I think that'll be a similar thing for her. It'll be a nice thing for her to have, not published.
So Ava, I hope you do 2 hours reading every day as well. And if you haven't found that book that you love and that makes you love reading, just don't give up, because you will get there.
There's so many different books out there, isn't there? Then they're all, what one person like, another person isn't going to like anyway. So I'm trying to think of the things that I like. How old is Ava?
She's 8.
I'm trying to think what I really liked at 8. I like some things that now feel quite old-fashioned, like Swallows and Amazons, and
I love Enid Blyton.
Did you like? Yeah, no, I didn't like that. But Swallows and Amazons, I really like, and I tried to read it as an adult, and I didn't like it at all.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got the Earthsea trilogy by Ursula Le Guin. That was my absolutely favourite book, and I've kind of had the urge for the last 2 or 3 years to pick it up and read it again, and I don't, because I don't want to.
You don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some things are best left, aren't they?
So precious. Yeah. So Jake says thank you, and he's told his mum Sarah that you have to buy him the book.
Oh.
No, his mum has to buy him the book, not you.
Yeah, I can't buy him the book. I'm sorry.
And George, thank you so much. When the Wind Blows by Raymond Briggs.
The Wind Blows. Yeah.
That was the book that showed me that picture books could be for adults and grown-ups too. Yeah. So lockdown, how can children be creative during lockdown?
I actually think there's a little bit to be said for being a bit bored, because you sort of, nature abhors a vacuum and all that. If you don't have anything to do, you just tend to find something, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think I was a naturally creative child, and I spent a lot of time. If there was something lying about, I would tend to cut it up or draw on it or turn it into something else. But I know that not all children. My daughter wasn't particularly interested in making things, but I think there's lots of stuff on the internet at the moment that's out there to sort of just give a little push start to creativity there. I've seen lots of things online of things to make and things to do and ways to start creating stories and stuff. There's lots of resources out there at the moment which are free, which is unusual, isn't it? That everybody's doing free, which is really nice. So, if you look at United by Books, or on the hashtag United by Books, or all the book trusts have a lot of resources going on at the moment. Lots of websites are full of downloadable, print-outable activities, things to do.
Yeah. My friend, we had a little Zoom party last night, and my friend said that she'd bought a printer for £34. And I thought that's fantastic. She said it's been the best investment she's ever made, because it's really helped her with her daughter at home.
Yeah, I mean, they're cheap as chips, really, aren't they? Now you can pick one
Yeah.
up.
And what are your top survival tips for lockdown?
Oh, apart from chocolate, you mean? Chocolate if you're under 18, wine if you're over 18. I think my top survival tips will be is to not stress about being bored so much. Just think you don't have to fill every second of the day. You know, sometimes you could just chill out. I mean, if you were at school, everything would be very much laid on for you, and the same with work. But if you haven't got that, I don't think you can beat yourself up. Try and do something every day, but you don't have to fill every day, I don't think.
Yeah, wise words. I think that's very true. And I've been asking a few people this lately. It's just a silly little game. The last book that you read,
okay,
the main character,
right?
you got an idea who that is? So your imaginary next job is going to be the same as their job. What is it?
Oh my God, it's a detective police sergeant. I think I'm doing that.
Oh, really? Definitely.
Really?
Well, mine would be I would be a climber at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm not good at that either. I'd fall off that cliff.
Oh, thank you. So, do you want to tell everyone about your? Oh, actually, no. I want to tell everyone about your amazing website. It's so exciting. I love it. So, it's an actual virtual library, isn't it? You walk into it, and then you've got the notice board and bookshelves, and
it is pretty good. And there's a section for going to watch videos. So all the Emily draws videos that I've been making, and Emily reads videos that I've been making. They're all coming up onto there. I think I haven't checked. All my books are on there. There's a load of downloadable sheets and things that you can print out and do activities from. So there's lots of stuff on there. It's quite fun, actually. Walk around.
It's really fun. How did you come up with that? Did you come up with the idea, or?
No, the publishers made it for me, but we sort of designed it together, like not in a technical way. Like I sort of said, it needs to be a library. And then did the pictures, and then they put it all together because that's way above my pay grade. Yeah,
it looks very complicated, but
amazing. It's really complicated, I'm sure.
But it's really good fun. There's lots of really lovely activities and things to do. You've got a little when you go into a real library and there's a table with glue sticks and coloured pencils.
It's a proper library.
A proper library.
Proper library. With added
how important do you think libraries are?
Well, of course they are. Anything that gets books out to the people is a brilliant thing. You've got and a resource that's free is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, they're really special. Did you used to go to the library when you were a child?
When I was a child, I did. Yeah. I actually liked the reference section more than the fiction section. I used to go in and look at old maps and things a lot. I used to spend my Sundays and weekends in there. Like, I'll just go and look at the history of this area. Research. Maybe I was a detective. Maybe that's something I should be doing.
Oh, brilliant. And right, so finally, I've been saving the best for last. I'm really, really excited about your book that's coming out in October.
I've got 2 books coming out in October. Yeah, I've got a picture book of mine, which is called Too Much Stuff. It's set in the same forest as Tidy.
Okay.
Characters. 2 magpies.
Right.
But that's not the book you're talking about, is it?
It's not, but I will be very excited about that as well.
Good.
Too Much Stuff. I've written it down. There you go. And actually, my husband will love that because he's always going on about. We went backpacking around South America 20 years ago, and he said that's his ideal way to live, just with that much stuff in his life. Whereas I like to have things around me that have memories and.
Yeah, me too. I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm a bit of a collector as well. Yeah. I'm better than I used to be, but I'm still. Yeah.
So Too Much Stuff. Obviously, very, very excited about that. But also, we've just finished Harry Potter number 4.
Oh, okay. Can't remember which one that is, but
it is the Cup, the Triwizard Tournament, the...
Oh, don't ask me. I can't. The order of things like that is beyond me. Though I'm quite good at Quidditch now.
Oh, yeah, so that's what I was going to ask. Did you actually get a chance to play Quidditch?
No.
With real broomsticks?
Sadly, I didn't. But I sort of, by the end, I sort of believed it. I feel like, yeah, I know Quidditch now. I know about it. I can see why that broom wouldn't fly. Why they designed it in that way. Makes perfect sense to me.
So did you have to do all your loads and loads of research and find out everything there is to know about Quidditch?
No, because the book is all the resource there is, really. So the book is already in existence, as a small hardback book, lightly illustrated rather than fully illustrated. And all I had to do really was read and interpret the information in the book. So actually all the information that's about Quidditch is already in the book.
Okay.
But it's a great book. It's very amusing, it's very funny, it's really well written, and it's really just made to be illustrated. There's so every line I think, oh my god, yes, I can do that. Oh my god, yes, I can do a painting from the 15th century. Oh my god, yes, I can make a locket from so and so. Oh yeah, I can make a, it was basically a big exercise in how to forge lots of different artifacts, old manuscripts and old paintings and lockets and uniforms and team badges and brochures and newspaper articles. Fantastic fun. It's really fantastic fun.
Yeah. Were you sad when it was finished?
I sort of was, because I started in January last year and I finished in February, March this year, not only a few weeks ago, really. And I worked about 7 or 8 hours a day on it. And so it sort of took over my life while I did it.
Yeah.
And I did a couple of other things at the same time, but I was really, just focused on it. And the whole studio was covered in bits of Quidditch paraphernalia and art, and I was living and breathing it for a long time. But I did love it, actually. It was such a fun project to do.
Yeah, I bet. And was that so did you collaborate with J.K. Rowling for that as well, or were you given complete free reign artistically?
I think, well, it's more like the book's already written and published, so nothing's changing in the book. And she gets final approval, or her team get final approval. She's way above everything now, so there's a team that then deal with and fact check everything. Right. So I couldn't make up content. I couldn't suddenly invent a rule that isn't there, or everything has to be made sure that it follows the book. It's in that particular world, and it has a knock-on effect in something else. It's like a world. It's like suddenly putting yourself in a world. It's very interesting.
It is phenomenal. And I think I love that it all seems so, because we've been quite immersed in them for a number of years now. Well, actually, the last book came out when my eldest daughter was in her pram, and I remember walking the streets. We had a big silver cross pram that someone had given us, so I put the book on the pram and walked the streets reading that. And then all of our 3 kids have absolutely loved them. There's just something so gripping about them.
Yeah, there is, I think, yeah.
And it feels like a really natural world. It doesn't feel that it's suspended reality.
No, and I think she's done that she's kept a grip on everything in that world somehow. So even if things look slightly different, somehow there's some core of it which is still a Harry Potter thing, which is it's very clever. I think it's very clever. But actually, it left an enormous amount of room to interpret the way I wanted to interpret it, and to have a look. And I thought it would they'd be a lot stricter than they were about some of the things I did. But actually, a few things changed. They asked for changes near the end, but most of the way through, it's been pretty good, really. It's been, I thought, this is what I'm going to do, and they've said, okay, just do it. And then I've just gone off on it. It's been like playing. Because none of the characters are in Quidditch of the Ages, so there's none of the main characters are in there. So I don't have to draw them. I don't have to follow. So there's no narrative really. It's like a history book of the history of Quidditch. So actually, every time you turn a page, you're in a different era or a different style, which is brilliant fun.
Yeah. And it is really lovely to hear that you had I would have imagined that they'd been much stricter and much more controlling about the
No, I mean, I think maybe I was just thinking along the right lines to what they wanted. Maybe, maybe they just chose the right illustrator for that particular job. Maybe because I mean, there was little changes near the end about what people were, maybe the color of something that somebody was wearing, or if because I did a lot of things like altered photographs and things, old photographs that I'd found in junk shops and stuff, and so they wanted sometimes them taken further away from the original in case they were recognizable and things like that, which is fair enough, to be honest. That's what you'd expect, really. So it worked very well. It was a dream job.
We'll look forward to that, and to too much stuff as well. So what's next?
This is the problem now, because I finished both of them pretty much the same week, the week before lockdown, thinking I would go off and have a holiday, and I'm not really having a holiday. I'm just making videos, and I don't know what to do next. So I always do this in between books. I have a bit of a wobble, and I don't know what to do. Something will come up, I think. I hope
it will.
It has to, otherwise my career's over.
Well, I can't see that happening anytime soon.
Oh, I hope not. I've got a mortgage.
I've just realised if I click this, is that better for everyone? Oh no, is that not better?
Well, I've just turned the computer around. That's all we're close to. Ugh, my hair.
Well, I was saying to you before we went live, I'm so jealous of your hair dye.
But look at the roots.
I can't wait to have mine done again. So I actually wanted to do that because as part of I've been doing Joe Wicks every morning.
Oh, have you? Well done you. I've not been.
Well, no one else in my house has been. I keep thinking if I do it, then I'll be the role model and the kids will copy me and we'll all be this happy, fit family. And obviously I offset it with chocolate and wine, and I'm not fit and no one else is doing it. So anyway, he did every morning he's doing Spot the Difference in his background. So I thought, well, I've got this lovely quilt that my baby friends made for me when I had my third baby. So I've been telling a little story every now and then about some of the things that are on there. So today, where's my... Can you see that one?
As well. It's really hard to
Right, let's point at that one. There we go. Wow. So that is a house that is actually the house that we lived in when my third daughter was born, and my lovely friend Rachel sewed that, and written across it is welcome. And it's got the same number of windows that we had, and the same number of chimneys, and the same door. And it was a really lovely house, and it was a really lovely home. And I love that Rachel wrote welcome on it, because that was always what we try and bring to our homes. Just everyone's welcome.
Oh.
So I'll tell you about another one of those next time. So next time we will be back on Monday at 2 p.m. with a poet this time, and he is Simon Mole. He's the children's poet, and he's done he's got a YouTube channel as well. He's done some lovely performance poetry, so it'll be really interesting having a different perspective. So come and watch us then, 2 p.m. on the Lockdown Children's Litfest page. I've also got a Facebook group called Bringing Up Book Lovers, and so in my work as a teacher, the most exciting work that I've ever done has been getting children motivated to read, and it really does have a massive impact on all of their work, all of if you're a child listening, if you read, you will be better at making friends, you'll be better at your schoolwork, will be easier, you'll enjoy school more. Just reading is the key to everything. So in this Facebook group, it's aimed at parents, helping them to get their kids into reading. So we talk about book recommendations and all sorts of different tips and tricks. So come and join us in there. It was initially aimed at just reading for pleasure, but now with the lockdown, it's become a bit more of a support group, but that's a lovely group. So come and join us, bringing up book lovers. And Emily, do you want to just tell us a bit about your links and your...
Yeah, because during the lockdown, I am also doing on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 11 o'clock on Facebook, Instagram, and I have a YouTube channel as well. I am doing Tuesdays, I'm doing Emily Reads, which is me reading a book. And then on the Thursday, I will teach you how to draw a character from the book. So if you come along and draw, and they're up, once they're up, they're up. So you can do them at any time. But on the Thursday after you've drawn, if you can upload that and put it on Instagram with the hashtags Emily Draws or whichever the hashtag is I'm using that day for that character, or you can put it on my Facebook feed, comment section. Anyway, you can put it on there, and I will say, hurrah, well done, and that thing. But I shall do that as long as there's a lockdown or I run out of books.
Brilliant.
I'm hoping the lockdown ends before.
There's your pressure to get the next book written.
Oh my God. I don't want to read it that long.
Juliet saying thank you, Emily, and thank you, Catherine. Bronte and Esme really enjoyed that, especially the books being read. Keep safe and creative in the lockdown, and we look forward to taking part in more of your online activities. Thank you for that. Thank you. I think that's it. Yeah, we've talked about Monday, 2 p.m, bringing up book lovers, Emily's Tuesday and Thursday, drawing and reading. And I'm a bit sad, actually, that I didn't bring you my picture that I drew. I could have showed you. Oh, well. I will definitely be the better parent and share my daughter's work. That's much better to do, isn't it? Much more lovely. So thank you so much, Emily. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, everyone, for your comments, for listening, for joining in. That's been really brilliant. Thank you. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.